Do you ever feel like you are struggling to make progress in your day? Do you ever feel like you get done with a day and you're like, what even happened? Or do you ever say to yourself, gosh, I know I need to wake up earlier. Gosh, I wish I was a morning person. If you ever said or felt one of those feelings of just like frustration with your days or even your like overall productivity in a day, in a week, in a month, and you just feel like you're not getting to your result as quickly as you want, a lot of it can boil down to your day. And so listen, what I am not is the day mapping expert. But what I have done is I've learned a lot and done a lot of testing to say, what can I change so that I feel so productive and I know exactly what to focus on and I can still be an incredible business owner and also an incredible mom and also an incredible spouse. I think about it because last night my husband and I went on a date and we have really been working on lately going on a date every single week. It was really sweet. Last week he asked me, he's like, "Wait, when is our date night this week?" And I was like, "Crap, because we're going to the lake." Like I hadn't mapped that out. And he's like, "Dang." He was like, "Okay, well, let's get it on the calendar for next week." And what's cool is my dad actually uh, I was an only child. So he's only ever like had one kid, you know? And so he actually decided to watch both boys. And we're talking like 1 year old and almost 4 year old. Like that's a challenging age for like any human, let alone two. Or for two humans, let alone just like one human. And so we did date night. And what I have found is there's not a perfect recipe for your daily routine. There's not a perfect schedule, but what I have found is when you take some of these strategies that I'm about to share with you, it can make a world of difference. There's so many things that have happened behind the scenes over the last year. I mean, I've had a baby. My appendix almost ruptured, actually, very shortly after having a baby, and I breastfed through his first birthday. And so, at the very beginning, after you have a baby, if you are breastfeeding or pumping, you like have a lot of milk. Anyway, the whole point is that like I had to go under amnesia, under anesthesia, and like they had to time it perfectly so that just so many like little help things that you wouldn't think about going on behind the scenes. Easton was hospitalized with pneumonia a couple months ago. We've just had like some challenges behind the scenes. And I think about how if I did not have this routine, this schedule, this approach, or even honestly, this mindset to how I approach my days as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, as a business owner, I would be super justified in like having meltdowns. Now, I have had like a panic attack or two, but those were just, I was trying to do too much at one time. And so I am really saying, how can I feel productive and proud of who I'm being in all these areas of my life while not having panic attacks? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And so I have this mapped out in a very organized guide for you. And I'm not going to do an hour, 2 hour long, 3 hour long podcast and YouTube episode here to go through every like little, like dissect every comment in this document. But what I can say, this is a really, really helpful guide. In fact, I've had people share with me that this was the most helpful thing that I've created. And I'm like, as far as like a free thing goes, obviously the program people have said just the most incredible things about. But as far as a free, resource goes, I've gotten the most positive feedback about this, which is really sweet. So I put this together for you. You can grab it at ashleybrock.com/routine. And it's a download and it's a couple pages and it just shows you there's some hacks I'm going to talk about. There's the way that I want you to think about your mornings, your middays, and your evenings. And it's just all broken out in a really good way. And I think you'll absolutely love it. So ashleybrock.com/routine or click the link below this podcast or YouTube video so you can take a look at it. And so let's talk about what this routine looks like. Oh, I forgot one more thing. One more thing. So I do want to invite you to the most incredible 2-day event in January of 2025. It's absolutely going to sell out, which I'm so excited about because last year we planned this event in 45 days when I had 1,500 followers on Instagram and told my mom and husband about it and Laura Beth. And then we ended up having 200 people in the room and another 200 online. And I'm like, man, if I can go from where I was then to where I am now, I know we can sell out 500 spots in the room. So I really want you to be there. So if you are the type of person that doesn't want to be just informed, but transformed, you must be at the Marketing Matters Summit. It'll be me, it'll be some other surprise guest speakers there. So you can get that. You can join us at the event at ashleybrock.com/summit. Let's talk about this workday routine now. So this is really going to be more of the Monday through Friday. And I'm not only going to tell you like what is this schedule, but I'm going to tell you what's in it for you when you have this schedule, because that's what matters, right? Like you want to close your eyes, get in bed and smile and be like, today was a good day. So let's break down. This is just how I think about the day. And I think about it in 3 different sections. And so I broke it down in this guide and for this episode, we're going to do the morning, the midday, and the evening, and what your goal and things you can think about in the morning and evening. So I've got notes here. So I'm going to, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to be like looking at my notes because I just have so many ideas I want to share with you. So one hesitation that I've heard in the past is, oh, when you live that restricted, you just take so much time. There's no flexibility. And actually, it's the exact opposite. In fact, I think about when Easton had pneumonia, and I think about how part of my mornings and what I want you to think about for the mornings, the goal of your mornings is to avoid having looming tasks above you. Okay. So looming tasks could be laundry, looming tasks could be the dishwasher, looming tasks could be dinner, looming tasks could be a specific task at work. In the morning, your goal is to remove the looming tasks. So for me, and maybe for you, I will think about how I need to work out all day constantly until I work out. Because for me, movement is core to who I am. It is a non-negotiable. I am a mover. Like I love health. I love health. I love just moving my body. It makes me feel my strongest. And honestly, I have my best marketing epiphanies while I am moving my body. So for me, I work out in the morning no matter what. Now, I do afternoon walks. Love it. Okay. But I get my workout done in the morning so that I can have a free brain the rest of the day and I can get my juices flowing. And so one thing I want you to consider is if that's you, if you think about working out the whole time, go ahead and knock that out in the mornings. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, I don't like waking up in the mornings, or oh, I'm not a morning person, or oh, I can't wake up that early. And the reason that you can't wake up that early, in my opinion, is because you have to just do it one day. And hold on, I know you're like, oh, but she's just doing it. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you actually have to get tired enough to want to go to bed. Like if you wake up at 8 or 8:30 or even 7:30 or 9 every day, you're not going to be as tired at 10 or at 9:30 because you haven't been up long enough. So you actually have to force yourself into waking up early one time and just lose sleep. If you can't fall asleep until 11:30, but you want to wake up at 5, like you're just going to have a night where you do that. And then what's cool and what I found is that when you force yourself to wake up early and you get those looming tasks done. One of my friends, her name is Morgan Peitzman, and she told me one time, she said, a load a day keeps the mountain away. And I have taken that one thing and it has changed my life. So I will do a load of laundry and a load of the dishwasher every single night before bed. And, or I load the dishwasher at night and then I do the laundry every morning. So every morning I start a load and every morning I unload the dishwasher. And so a load a day keeps the mountain away, the mountain of dishes, the mountain of clothes, whatever it is. So that's part of my routine. When you wake up at 5 or 5:30 and you do a load of laundry and you get the dishes cleaned up and you clean up your space, if there's anything outstanding from your space overnight, and you begin your workday and you start making things happen, you get your movement in. When you actually wake up early and you actually move your body and you actually get some sunlight and you actually accomplish some stuff, you're stinking tired. And especially some of you listening are parents. And as a mom with 2 kids in what I would call the most challenging age, obviously, because I'm only at this point with a 1-year-old and an almost 4-year-old, you're exhausted. So when 9:15 rolls around, you're out. You don't have to try. So if you feel like you're having to try to fall asleep, simply move your body more, get outside and wake up early one day and do what I'm going to map out the rest of this episode. And you'll find it's actually easy to fall asleep. Your body is like, please. So when I'm in this phase, this groove of waking up early, I can go to sleep so quickly. Whereas when I don't move my body, when I don't challenge myself, when I don't get outside, I'm like, dang, I'm having trouble falling asleep. And it's like, oh, I didn't like use my body. I didn't exert energy. And so I'm having trouble going to sleep. And I slept in. Your body's just, I'm not a scientist here, but think about it. You didn't expend energy and you haven't been awake long enough. So it's like, hey, I'm not tired. Okay, that makes sense. So that's just my thought on like how do you get started? You just start one day and then you'll see that these other pieces really will fall into place, honestly. So the other thing is like people say, oh, it takes so much time to do that. And actually it's the opposite. It gives you time. So I think about when Easton got sick and I think about how it was 9:30 and I go down there and he had been sick for like 6 or 7 days. And I had taken him to the hospital or I had taken him to the doctor twice. The doctor's like, he's fine, basically. And he woke up and it was a Sunday morning and I was like, my kid is not fine. It was 9:30 and I immediately like dropped everything. I was like, no matter what, I'm mom mode. We ended up going to the Choa. His pulse ox was 87. It was awful, honestly. One of the scariest moments of my life as a mom. And so I think about how my what some people might call rigidness, like my actual schedule, my routine, it didn't prevent me from doing something. It actually enabled me to be there as a mom. And the reason I say that is because I woke up, I had already gotten ready for the day. I had already got my workout in for the day. I had already unloaded the dishwasher. Things were clean. The house, all the looming tasks were already done. It's Sunday morning. Like I was already good. I was dressed and ready. There was nothing that I was stressing about while I was away with him. Like, oh gosh, I'm already so stressed about this, and the house is chaotic, and family's coming, and there's not food, and everything's a mess, and I can't find my charger. Like, no, like family came, house was prepped, knew where everything was. I didn't have to stress about that. Didn't have to stress about anything. I just got to focus on my son. And so that's the gift that having this routine can offer you is when things are surprising and are out, you're like, oh, nope, we're good. Because you got the hardest part of your day done in the morning. You've already taken care of you with your body. You've already taken care of your home and your family. And so that's why I love the mornings. I wake up and I smile. Can't wait to go have that coffee and unload the dishwasher while I listen to some encouraging music or a podcast. I do like to use my time. My coach said this today. It was crazy. Her name's Macy. And she said this today. She said a lot of people in their spare time want to escape their life, like escape reality. And she's like, I would rather like use that to make my reality even better, the like current life that I have. And I was like, oh, so like instead of like not doing anything or listening to something maybe distracting, she like listens to something that makes her better. It's really smart. I haven't heard someone say it like that before. Now, are there times where I just want to completely separate myself and watch a movie? Yes, absolutely. That's more of like weekend Ashley. There's two versions of me. There's the it's Monday through Friday. I can't wait to do what I love to do, which is work and serve people and help people become findable because of the impact that has on not only themselves but their families too, and the people that they get to serve in their business. Like it's so fulfilling for me. Like this is what I'm called to do, and it's awesome. And weekend Ashley, although she does do a little bit of work, it doesn't feel like work. She just kind of she's chiller. She's chill. She's like, hey, I'm gonna spend time with the kids. I'm gonna just do it at my own pace. So this is more of a weekday thing. All right, so let's talk about the setting the stage. So in the mornings, your goal are to remove the looming task. So here's something I like to think about. I like to think about doing the task you dread the most first. Now, the workout is not something I dread, it's just something that'll loom over me. So the morning is to remove the loom. Say it with me. Remove the loom. So if workout is a loom, get it gone. If the dishes are a loom, get it gone. If making the bed is a loom, get it gone. Get your environment in a place where it's not distracting. And so your environment is your brain and your physical space. So if your brain is distracted by, you need to work out, if your space is distracted by, you need to fold that, you need to make that bed, remove it. Create a system where all those things are removed so that you can focus on what you want to do. Okay. So the big pillars of the morning, in my opinion, are quiet time. So taking a little bit of time to pray, to do a devotion. I link to my devotion that I love in the guide. And then moving your body, and then setting the stage. And so my morning is quiet time, my workout, I unload the dishwasher, I start a load of laundry, I make the bed, and I pick up my environment. Okay. So that's my morning. And then the midday, your goal is to focus on 5 tasks, 3 to 5 tasks that you can realistically accomplish. Now, I want to give you some guidance on these 3 to 5 tasks. Do not, I repeat, do not just do the 5 things that you want to do. That's what you're tempted to do. I know it's true because it's true of me too. You're very tempted to say, here's the things I want to do. Here's what's fun. And you put off and you delay setting up your ads, going and recording your ads, making your ad scripts, working on your email automation that I teach about in week 6 of the Marketing Matters program, creating your automation flows, updating your website organically, which I teach in week 1. All these things that my students are coming to me, they're like, oh, I don't want to do this part. I'm like, I know. And it's the most worth it thing that you need to focus on now. So here's how you can think about this. Think about what are 3 to 5 things, not that you want to do, that you need to do. What, and when I say need, I mean, what do you want to accomplish in your business? One of my clients, Julia, you can follow her on Instagram, Eat More with Julia. Julia is launching a podcast. And as a result of that podcast, she's launching another offer, and it's very exciting. So what she needs to do is say, hey, I'm launching this podcast on this date. That's your goalpost. Now, how do you get there? And she's like, well, in order to launch the podcast, I've got to map out some episodes. I've got to get the equipment, and I've got to think about what am I going to offer and say, what's my intro and outro? What's that branded messaging I need to create? And what am I going to offer before and at the end of every podcast episode? It's to no surprise that the person with a marketing podcast markets her business on every episode. Julia, of course, because she's in my mastermind, I am advising her. I'm like, Julia, what are you going to offer? How are you going to lead them to the next step? How can they get a better result? How can they get even more? And so what you do is you take your goalpost. She has a date for the podcast and you back into it and you say, okay, in order to launch this podcast, I must promote it. I must market. The definition of marketing is to promote a product or service. So if she wants to have a podcast, what she can't do is build it and hope everybody comes. She has to market it. So if she wants her podcast to go well, she's backing into that and saying, well, I've got to promote it. I've got to have something to sell on the podcast. So when she sets down on her to-do list, she needs to map out a podcast episode. She needs to map out an ad that she's going to use to promote the podcast. That's work that allows her to hit her deadline of her launch date. So I want you to think about not just what do you want to do, but what should you do, and do the thing you want to do least first. Okay. That way it doesn't loom over you. I'm really big on not dreading something the whole day. It just distracts your mind. You don't even know how many minutes it makes up. And so something else I want you to think about in the middle of your day is what's actually realistic. Sometimes what we do is we feel like a failure because we had 17 things that were unrealistic to accomplish in a day. Okay. So you're like, oh, I feel so behind. And it's like, no. You simply set yourself up. Your expectations were unrealistic of what you could accomplish. And so you feel like a failure because what you set out to do wasn't even realistic in the first place. So what can you realistically accomplish that will move the needle? What will move the needle? Let me tell you the 3 things that I focus on in my business. There are 3 things I do. One of them I'm doing right now, create content. I create content, I sell, and I coach. I create content, I sell, I have sales conversations. I'm in conversation with people that want to be found, that want to be findable. And I coach. I coach the people who say, hey, yes, I would like to pay because they care more about being found than they do their money. That's the exchange. She says, hey, I have this money, but I'd rather be found because the money is short term and that being found is a long-term play for the rest of your business that actually allows your business to grow. Because if people can't find you, they can't buy from you, right? So you have to be findable. So those are the 3 things I do. I help the people be found. Once they say, hey, I'm in, I'm pushing my chips in. I have sales conversations to help people decide if it's the right thing. And I create content to serve people. And so I think every day, as I sit down for my things, I think, okay, what are the things, and I want you to think about this for you actually. What are the things that you have to do every day or that you should do every day? What are the recurring items in your business? And what are the things that are different? So what does that look like? I coach every single day, non-negotiable. It's what, especially the ladies in my mastermind sign up for. They sign up to get daily coaching 5 days a week. So I talk to the women in my mastermind daily through Voxer. So I have set times on my calendar morning and evening that I check Voxer, and I get to have those conversations, and we talk strategy, we talk real-time feedback. They're uploading videos, we're creating email flows, we're talking about mindset, we're helping price your offer, we're creating business and marketing coach Ashley coaching is every day. So on my to-do list, it's like Voxer coaching. That's it every day. And there's some things that are different. So some things, and I guess technically I sell, coach, I create content, and I do have like business, like I'm working on the business. Like there's that strategy of business time too. So I guess technically I do 4 things in the business. And so when I sit down, I think about what do I do every day that needs to be on my list, and then what is unique to today, and what is something that will move the needle and get me closer to my goal. And if you don't have a goal, then you can't know what to do. I have a specific goal for the summit. I have a specific goal for my email list right now, and I have a specific goal for Instagram followers. And so I'm working on each of those. And luckily, I know exactly what to do for those things to happen. Anybody else know exactly what you should do? It's just you need to do it. But you're doing so many things. And so that's the whole point of this, is being able to say, how can I hack this life in a way that you can actually do the things you know you need to do and make progress? And it really starts with saying, not just what do you want to do, what do you need to do, what's your goal, and what do you need to do to accomplish that goal? So for example, after I get done recording today's podcast, what does it have on my list? I am going to work on this quiz I'm developing that's a lead magnet. That lead magnet will allow people to have access to a training that I don't offer anywhere else, which is really cool. And then at the end of that training, it will share with them the opportunity and the invitation to join us for Summit. So it all works back for the good. Like it's all like, how can I help people? And then help them again, help them again. And that's what you're creating in your business too, is that flow. And so I think, okay, if I want to have this many people on the wait list for Summit when we open up tickets, then what do I need to do? Well, I need to run ads for a lead magnet that's super valuable, that like helps people so much. Because when I do that, it'll grow and the list will grow. Follow, everything's a byproduct. It actually all works together. My goal for followers versus email subscribers versus Summit waitlist attendee, like signups for the waitlist, all 3 of those, if I actually do the work that it takes to do that, then like all of those will grow. And it's the same thing for you. So what is your goal? And what's the mile markers that you must hit in order to actually hit your goal and like do some of those? Like I have those, that'd be one of your 3 to 5 things that you do today. All right. So your goal midday is to do your recurring things. It's to do a few new things and to be realistic about how many things. That's why I say 3 to 5. I don't say like 17 things on your to-do list, even if they're small. I know you. I know some of you are like, no, I want to do 13 so I can write them all out and strike them out and feel really good when I strike them out. And now, granted, if I actually get done with my 3 to 5 things for the day, I will literally write other things that I did, go back, write it down, and just to cross it out. It's crazy, but it feels so good. Some of you are like, she's crazy. Some of you are like, I get her. Like she gets me. Okay. Funny stuff. So let's look at midday. Your goal is to just to do the work, right? Do the things you set out to do, and to have an environment that is not distracting you from, think about this. I want you to create an environment that is not distracting you from doing the work, but is inviting you towards excitement to do the work. And that's why this environment, as you watch this on YouTube, or like it's peaceful, it's calm, it's clean. There's no clutter on my desk. Like I am not distracted by anything other than the opportunity to get to do what I love right now. So that's what I want. That's why your environment matters so much. People are like, Ashley's OCD. Why does everything have to be perfect? It's not. It's simply setting the stage for success. My environment is a reflection of how I feel about you and the people I get to serve in my business, And so my environment reflects that. Does yours? And if not, you can hire someone like Molly. You can look her up. Her name is, well, if you're local to Atlanta, honestly, I bet she'd fly to you. Please tell her that I sent you, but her name is Molly. You can look her up on Instagram. It's the Molly B Effect. She came and like helped organize my life, my kitchen, my attic. And now I know where things are. And so she can help you organize. If you're like, hey, I'm not organized, but I want that clean slate, like contact Molly and tell her Ashley sent you, and it'll be great. Okay. Let's move to the evenings. Let me see if I missed anything. Oh, I'm going to link to a few books in this guide that you can get at ashleybrock.com/routine. I'm going to link to a few books, but one book that's really helped me is called Atomic Habits. And I actually didn't like reading the book, but I loved listening to it. Isn't that weird? Like reading it, I did not get as much from it as I did listening. Listening, it was like gold for me. It's so interesting how like visual versus audible like results are different. But I'm going to link to that and a few more books that have really helped me. But one of those things in particular that he teaches in Atomic Habits is habit stacking. And that's why in the morning, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I walk out, I start my coffee, I unload the dishwasher, and I grab clothes and start a load of laundry, and I pick up the living room. Like it's like back to back to back. I'm stacking the habits. So it's like that's my routine. It doesn't even feel like work because my brain is like, this is automatic. So I'm like, oh, and then I sit down and do my devotion and prayer before I do my workout. It's like my body is just doing that naturally. And so that one thing I really loved is that habit stacking. And oh, one other thing I wanted to share with you is one of the reasons I'm so big on like your visual environment and why I was actually sitting next to Jamie. She's in my mastermind. She's a virtual interior designer. We were at an event today together, and I was talking to her about how what she does, it gives people the excitement to have that pep in their step to go to work. Because when your environment is inviting, like I actually love this office. Like I love walking into it. It's peaceful. It just represents what I'm building and who I get to serve. And it's just like clean and modern and updated. And so the whole point of me telling you this is that visual clutter creates a cortisol response in your body. And cortisol is like the stress hormone. And I'll tell you what you don't want is to walk into your office and feel stressed. So if you are, it literally could be the visual clutter. That's why I'm really big on like as minimalistic as I can be. And that's why virtual interior design matters so much, is because it's freeing your brain of the space. You know, so nice. All right, let's move to the evening. I could talk about like the structure of a day for so long. So let's move to the end of the day. Okay, so here's what matters, in my opinion, at the end of the day. Your goal is there are three main things that you want to focus on at the end of your day to feel really fulfilled. One is connection, two is rest, and three is preparation. So connection, for me, the end of the day, it's when my kids come home, my husband comes home, because my kids are both in school. Parker, they're in it's daycare, but we call it school. It's care. It's school. It's awesome. And so they come home. And so my goal is connection. My goal is mommy has been working her fanny off all day, and I can't wait to just connect with them. So I am not perfect at this. I am really working on hiding my phone or putting it on the charger so that I'm not tempted to pick it up in the evenings. So again, I'm not perfect at it, but it's something I'm working on, is to connect with my husband, to connect with my kids, and I mean, you think about it, they come home and it's 4:30 to 5:30, and Parker goes to bed at 6:30 or 6:45. So like I have between 1 and 2 hours to really connect with them. So like what I can't afford to do is have my phone up. So if I don't put it up, I'll touch it. Okay. So if you are like me and you struggle and it's like an addiction, you don't even realize you're looking at your phone, hide it. Give it to your husband, put it on the charger, out of sight, out of mind, and just connect with your kids. That's what I've been working on doing. And so I'll either go on a date night with my husband once a week, I'll hang out with my kids, or at least once a month, me and my mom go on a date, and at least once a month, I do like a friend's dinner. I really need to do that more, honestly. But I really like to have that connection be a focus for the evenings. Connection is one. Maybe if it's just you and you live with just you yourself, then you can like call a friend or call your mom or call anybody. Like have that connection time in the evening. Okay. The other thing is to rest. Now I know as a mom with a 1-year-old and 4-year-old, or almost 4, I keep rounding, that rest, like you can't rest when the children are at home, right? So for you, this may just look like taking a bath. It may look like reading a book after the kids go to bed. It may look like pouring a cup of tea and just having 5 minutes to just sit. Whatever it is, it's really important that you get a moment to rest, that you don't just go, like go to sleep. Like you need to have some time. You're like, for me, it's reading. Reading actually makes me sleepy. And so many people say read at the beginning of the day. I do my devotion, I pray, and I want to get stuff done. And in my opinion, like reading is like a relaxing thing for me. So it's nice to like relax right before bed. Like my brain is like really intrigued and it's great before bed, but it also makes me really tired to read. So it's like a great setting the stage and removing my like phone from me before I lay down. So you could try that too. But it's connection, rest, and then preparation. So I keep calling it setting the stage, and it's like the stage of your life. Your home is your stage. It's where you perform your motherly duties, your personal duties, your friendly duties, your spousely duties. It's your stage. And no one would want to come to a performance where there was trash all over the stage and it smelled and there was a pile of things. Like, no, you wouldn't want to watch a performance because you're distracted by everything else. You can't actually enjoy the performance when all you see is chaos. You can't enjoy your home when it's chaotic. And so that's why these little things that you do every day can make a difference. So I set the stage before bed. So after the boys get in bed, I pick up any toys, I clean up the playroom, make sure everything's in the dishwasher, turn the dishwasher on, fold the blankets off the couch. Like I get the space just tidied back up. So that when I wake up, I walk out and it's like, ah. Or you can go to bed and not have to be like, crap, I have to clean that mess in the morning. Like it's just so mentally freeing to set your stage and to think of your home as a stage for your kids, a stage for you, your mental capacity. I can, and tell me if I'm crazy. Somebody message me and tell me that you relate to this, but like my mental sanity and stress as a mom and as a wife is super tied to my environment. If my house is a tornado, I'm a tornado. If my house is clean and organized, I'm feeling pretty clean and organized, you know? Maybe it's just me. Someone tell me I'm not crazy, but this is how I feel is I really feel strongly that your environment matters. And if you want to do big things, then set the stage for those big things, you know? So the evening looks like Kyle does bath time. So Kyle does bath time with the boys while I pick up in the kitchen. And then he puts Easton to bed. So he does Easton's book time and bedtime, and I do Parker's book time and bedtime. So we tag team. He gets to do bath because I do mornings. So I am mornings with the boys. Now, granted, I guess Kyle gets Easton up. So yeah, I get Parker up. And on the weekends, I get Easton up. But on the weekdays, like he's kind of Easton, I'm kind of Parker in the mornings and in the evenings. It's just that divide and conquer mentality. We should honestly probably switch up the bedtimes now that I think about it. Anyway, let's look at the evening. So we talked about setting the stage, yep, taking rest and connecting. Yep, that's it. Okay, so the only other thing, and I'm gonna stop just because I know this has been long. I could talk about how your routine like fuels your business so much. I mean, I feel like I've shared a good bit. So I'm just going to end it with this. I'm going to end it with one of the 5 hacks that I detail in this guide that you can look at if you want more detail. If you want to like, I have screenshots, I have pictures, I have links to all kinds of books and resources that really help me in this guide. So if you want that, just get the guide, but I am going to tell you one of the hacks real quick. And it is meeting stacking. So this is something I feel strongly about. I meeting stack. So I have a few calls every week. I have my program calls if I'm running a Marketing Matters program group. I have academy calls. Academy is for people that finish the Marketing Matters program that want to keep getting coaching weekly. That's the academy, the Marketing Matters Academy. And then I have the Marketing Matters Mastermind. So each of those 3 groups have a call. Now, if we're not doing a program, then all there is each week is the Marketing Matters Mastermind call and the Marketing Matters Academy call. And so if I have a call with someone who is considering the program, or the mastermind, or if I have a call or an interview on a podcast, or if I have a coaching call, like I invest in coaching. And most of you know this, but I invested $4,000 in coaching and then $50,000 in coaching. And then a couple months ago, $125,000 in coaching. So I am the biggest advocate of like, not just saying what you should do, but doing it too. Like I don't just say, hey, y'all, you should invest and push your chips in. It's like, no, I'm going to go first and push all of my chips in, get the experience and be able to share with you how it truly is the best gift that someone has had me do is push my chips in, and it's led to everything. The whole point of me sharing this with you is that I build my meetings so that they touch. I always say, Laura Beth, make sure my meetings touch. And I like for my meetings to be stacked, 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 stacked. What I don't like Like, and oh, I have my therapy meeting every week with my therapist. I have a few other like little meetings, okay, throughout the week. Let's just pretend on a given week I have 6 meetings. I am going to stack those across 2 days, period. I'm going to make sure that there are no more than 2 days that I have meetings. That way, the other 3 days, I can actually work. And honestly, one day a week, I try to take care of like life things. Like I'll take care of my hair or my nails or my body or, you know, groceries or, errands and scheduling appointments and paying bills. Like I'll have time so that on the weekend, I mean, that's the whole reason you started a business, right? Is to give yourself time freedom. That's the whole point. Like I love working. And honestly, 4 days a week, I really do work a lot and I love it. But like I love to have Fridays where Friday, like tomorrow I'm getting a massage. Yesterday I got, yeah, you get it. When you set yourself up so that you can be really focused and have your meetings stack and your meetings touch, yes, it can be a lot, but it's also like you're in the vibe. Like I'm in my coaching vibe. Like I jump to coaching call to coaching call to coaching call, and I'm like, let's go. Like I'm in coach mode versus like I'm in coach mode and then I'm in home mode and then I'm gonna take care of me mode and then I'm in podcast mode. It's like, no, I stack it so that I know exactly what I'm doing and my meetings touch so that yes, it's 5 meetings in a row and I'm basically done for the rest of the week. Isn't that cool? So I would encourage you to not have little mini gaps in your meetings. I mean, everybody's going to give you some different advice. The reason I like it is because you get the majority of the actual meetings done so that you have time and to have blocks to work. Because what I have found is if a meeting is in the middle of the day and it's only one, or it's one and then it's an hour and then it's one, like it's really hard to get in the zone and be super productive in between. You get distracted, you need to eat, you need to do this. It's like, I would rather get it all done and just sprint and then be able to have more blocks to take care of home stuff, to take care of, to go on a walk and do my coaching. Like I just want that time freedom. It's why you created your business too. And so I would encourage you to say you have 1 or 2 days a week that you do meetings. The rest is work time. So I have 4 other hacks that I have that have to do with meetings and color coding and all these other things. So if you would like the full scoop, ashleybrock.com/routine. Don't forget to get on the wait list for the Marketing Matters Summit. I want to invite you to spend these 2 days together in Alpharetta, Georgia, so that you can become findable because marketing matters and marketing matters because your mission, your message, your business, and the people that you get to serve, they matter. And so that is why the Marketing Matters Summit was created. I cannot wait to see you there and I can't wait to see you on the next episode.